Man, Buckley versus Usman is such a weird but fun fight, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's happening this Saturday on a fight night card, but it honestly feels like it has more weight to it than more of your regular fight nights, you know? Like there's a real curiosity behind it. You've got Kamaru Usman, the former champ, coming back after 2 years off. The dude is 38 now. The dude hasn't won a fight since early 2022, and the question is, does he still have it? Because if I'm gonna be real with you, prime Usman, like 2019, 2020 Usman, I think is a different fight entirely. That version of Kamaru was running through guys with wrestling pressure, clinch control, and a surprisingly solid jab. But now, after back-to-back losses to Leon Edwards and that war with Hamzat where he came up just a bit short, I don't know, man. It's hard to picture him just walking Buckley down and dominating him like he used to. The timing is probably going to be off. The reactions aren't going to be as sharp. The knees, bro. The knees are toast. But at the same time, I got to be honest about Buckley too. Like, yeah, he's surging right now. But if you peel back the layers a little bit, he hasn't really been tested against the elite level competition. I mean, he's been taking out some big names, don't get me wrong, Wonder Boy, Luke, and even Kobe Covington. But all of these three guys were kind of on the tail end of their career. It's like old Yeller in the division, putting these vets out of their misery. Still impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's not like we've seen him against a 100% version of someone at the top of the food chain. And yeah, man, he struggled a bit with Wonderboy in that fight before getting that knockout. But you gotta respect the finish because not many guys can crack Wonderboy like that. Like outside of Pettis with that Superman punch off the cage, that's not a common thing. So Buckley definitely earns his stripes there. Now, as far as what Buckley's good at, man, this dude is an absolute powerhouse. He's built like a tank, he's short, stocky, explosive, and when he commits hard. His left hand is a cannon, and he's got that twitchy burst where he'll just explode into a hook, kick, blitz. It's very hard to time or read because he doesn't throw a lot of setup shots. He just launches. You could be chilling at range and then boom, he's flying with you at a 3-piece combo. Not just that, his footwork has gotten better too. Early in his career, he was kind of flat-footed, just walking guys down with raw athleticism. But now he's cutting angles, switching stances occasionally, mixing in body shots, and even showing patience when it's needed. And he's shown improvement takedown defense. He's not stopping every shot clean, but he's making guys work for it. And against a wrestler like Usman, that's going to matter, especially if Usman doesn't have the same cardio or the drive that he used to. And look, the one thing I really respect about Buckley, and I feel like people don't talk about this enough, is that he's a dog. He has that dog in him, okay? Like, for reals. If he goes down on the scorecards, he doesn't fold. He doesn't check out mentally or coast to a loss. He bites down on the mouthpiece and says, all right, let's go to war. And that's exactly what he did in that fight with against Nasruddin Imavov. Now, keep this in mind. Imavov is no scrub. The guy's likely next in line for a title shot, depending on how things shake up between Dricus du Plessis and Hamzat. And in that fight, Imavov was straight up outclassing Buckley for the most part of the first 2 rounds, outstriking him, outgrappling him, just putting him on a clinic performance. But the moment round 3 hit, you saw Buckley switch gears. It was like he found a second gas tank and said, F it, man. He's gonna walk through the fire and start pressing forward, throwing wild combos, turning it into a gritty brawl. And yeah, man, he still lost the fight on the cards, but at that moment right there, that told me a lot. It showed that he's not just a highlight reel spinning kick guy anymore. He's not some flash in the pan viral fighter. This is a dude who wants to be a contender. He's been sharpening up his tools, he's been building discipline, and most importantly, he's fighting with purpose now. He knows what's on the line every time he walks into the cage. I think we're seeing more of a mature Joaquin Buckley these days. He's still explosive, still dangerous, but there's a different kind of focus to him now. Before, it felt like he was just trying to make a name, get a crazy finish, go viral, sell some merch. Now, it feels like he's actually trying to build a legacy. That Wonder fight proved it. That Imavov fight, even in a loss, proved it. And heading into this Usman matchup, I think we're going to see that same hunger. Alright, so let's change it up a little bit and really focus on what I think Usman needs to do in this fight. And that's lean heavily on the wrestling. Like, yeah, obviously you got to mix in some striking here and there to keep it honest, but that should not be the priority in this matchup. Not at this stage in his career, and especially not against a guy like Joaquin Buckley. Because let's be real, Buckley's the better striker here. He's faster, more dangerous, and way more dangerous in those pocket exchanges. Usman can throw a decent jab. He's got fundamentals, sure, but trying to stand with Buckley for an extended period, that's risky, especially for a guy who's 38 and coming off back-to-back losses, okay? What Usman needs to do is take advantage of how well-rounded he is, but not fall in love with it. That's the trap a lot of older champions fall into. They start thinking they need to prove they can do everything, but no. Usman should just use his jab, maybe feint the right hand to draw attention, but ultimately he's got to look to close the distance, get Buckley to the cage, and grind him down. Just drag this dude into the trenches and make it ugly. Now, if Usman can get Buckley to the fence and time those clean entries, and even if it's just 1 or 2 takedowns per round, that's enough to slow the fight down and keep Buckley from letting his hands go. Usman's not a chain wrestler, but he knows how to bank rounds with smart control and pressure, and Buckley hasn't really dealt with that kind of experience yet. So yeah, Usman being well-rounded is a gift, but this ain't the fight to try and showcase it all. Stick to what works, use the wrestling, weaponize it, control, and don't get sucked into a kickboxing match with the dude who can shut your lights off with a one punch. And that's the thing, Usman doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. He just needs to get back to that suffocating style, because when you're fighting a guy like Buckley who thrives on chaos and highlight moments, the smartest thing you can do is kill that momentum. Take the crowd out of it, take Buckley's confidence away, and you do that by giving him no room to breathe. I want to see Usman bring back the stomps, bring back those little veteran tactics in the clinch, dig in the underhooks, pin him into the cage, land some short uppercuts, short shots, knees to the thighs, make it ugly. Make Buckley hate being in there. Every second Buckley's not striking is a second where Usman is winning. And even if he can't hold him down forever, just the act of forcing him to work over and over again, that pays off in the later rounds. But if I'm gonna be realistic, I think Buckley still wins this fight. At 170, Buckley just looks strong as hell, like really strong. That dude dropped down weight has made him even more compact, more explosive, and harder to hold down. He carries a lot of muscle, but he's moving well with it. And it's not just aesthetic, it's functional strength. He's not easy to clinch up and drag down anymore. He's digging underhooks, he's turning guys off the fence, and when he gets taken down, he pops right back up. I mean, just look at his fight with Covington. That was the most recent example of Buckley showing that he can handle wrestlers. Kobe's still a grinder, as washed as he is. He still tries to wear on your pace and control, and Buckley didn't just survive, he pushed through it. He got up, he fought the hands, he didn't look lost down there. And that says a lot about how far a guy has come since the Amavov loss. So yeah, while there's still footage out there of Buckley getting controlled, I truly believe those days are really behind him. He made those adjustments. He's gotten better. He's gotten better defense instincts now. And again, at 170, he's built like a damn tank. If Usman thinks he can just run in and ragdoll him like it's 2019 again, I think he's in for a surprise. Now, on the feet, this is where things start getting a little bit dicey. Usman's got solid tools. Let's not pretend like the guy can't strike. He has a jab, especially during his title reign, was one of the most underrated weapons in the division. Like, go back to that Gilbert Burns fight, that jab was money. He dropped Burns with the clean. Same thing with Masvidal in the rematch. That jab sets up the finishing sequence. Even Kobe Covington ate a ton of jabs and straights rights across both fights. So Usman knows how to work behind that long stiff jab, especially when he mixes it in with level change threats. He's not clueless on the feet. But here's the issue. Just having a jab isn't going to be enough against someone like Buckley, who brings the chaos and pressure in a complete different way than most of the guys that Usman has fought. Buckley isn't trying to outpoint you. He's not trying to go 5 rounds jabbing back and forth. He's looking to break that rhythm, blitz in, and detonate something heavy. That's the difference. He's got that leap forward and take your head off style. Short, explosive combinations, hooks from weird angles, switch kicks, lunging overhands, and all of it comes fast. And I'm going to be real with you. I honestly believe it's going to give Usman some real problems, because let's be real. The way Usman moves these days isn't what it used to be. His footwork is even slower now than it used to be. He doesn't pivot out of range as clean, and sometimes you see him plant his feet mid-exchange, almost like he's bracing for the shots instead of slipping in counter. That's a dangerous place to be when you've got a guy like Buckley who's throwing 100% to his strikes. What makes Buckley's tricky too is his unpredictability. He doesn't just throw 1 or 2 punches, he throws 4 or 5, and he'll change levels mid-combo. Like a left hook, a rear kick, a body shot, step-in elbow, and if you're stuck on the back foot trying to jab and reset, it's hard to keep up. Buckley can slip the jab and come over the top, or time a naked jab. That's where Usman's jab, as good as it is, could get neutralized. And let's not forget, Usman's defense isn't built on head movement. He's always been a high guard, straight line mover dude. You know, he'll block, absorb, or shell up and walk through shots. But against Buckley, you don't want to be absorbing anything. That's the kind of power that can shut lights off if it lands super clean. And with Usman's wear and tear, I don't know, man. I don't know how many more of those he can take in the chin. I don't know how many of those his chin can just handle. And that's the thing, man. The jab, it's still solid when he commits to it. It's sharp, it's stiff, and it could definitely win him some moments, you know. We've seen him use it to control guys like Gilbert Burns and Kobe Covington in his prime. He was walking dudes down with just a jab and some basic footwork. But this isn't 2021 anymore. This issue isn't that Usman forgot how to jab. It's that everything around that jab has slowed down. And that's the problem when you're facing a guy like Buckley, because Buckley's not just going to stand there and let you just jab him to death. He's going to force chaos. He's going to bait it out, time it, and look to blow right through it. One of the most dangerous things about Buckley is how he fights in bursts. He doesn't throw a ton of volume. He'll lure you into his rhythm, just bounce, feinting a little, maybe throw half a jab, and then out of nowhere, he'll explode with a 4 or 5 strike combo. That type of sudden death is hard to time, especially for a guy like Usman who's not reacting as quickly as he used to. I mean, go back to the third Leon Edwards fight. Usman was getting stuck in that mid-range zone, not quite committing to his takedowns, not fully trusting his hands, and Leon made him pay with the feints, with the low kicks, with the body shots. Leon isn't even a power striker like that. He's surgical, but you can still see Usman getting flustered. That split-second freeze after missing the jab or eating a kick, that's where Buckley lives. He's looking for that pause. That's when he crashes the pocket and throws bombs, hooks, overhands, kicks, and everything. Also, let's talk about the kicking game. Buckley's got a nasty rear leg, especially when he switches to southpaw. He knocks people out cold with it before. And what did we see in the Leon trilogy? Usman has troubles with kicks, body kicks, calf kicks, even that legendary head kick in fight 2. His stance is kind of upright and narrow, and his knees are always suspect, let's be real. If Buckley starts ripping that rear body kick and Usman can't catch or counter it, that could wear him down fast. And that's without even bringing up how Buckley sets those kicks up with punches. You start shelling up, and the next thing you know, you're eating a shin to the liver. And let's not ignore this. When Usman's jab doesn't land, or when it whiffs on a right hand, he kind of just stays there. He's never been a guy who throws, slip, and resets with angles. He'll throw and hang in the pocket for a second too long. That worked when he was younger, when his chin was fresher, and he can eat shots and keep marching forward. But now, against a guy like Buckley, who's just waiting for that opening to unload, I think that's dangerous. On top of that, you got to factor in the psychological pressure. Usman hasn't won a fight in 3.5 years. He's coming off 3 straight losses. This is the first time in his UFC career where he's truly the underdog in every sense, physically, mentally, and momentum-wise. Meanwhile, Buckley's on a run. He's confident, he's got the hype, he's coming off big name wins, highlight reel knockouts, and he's probably looking at this like this is his big moment. His shot to take out a legend and launch himself into title contention. So you've got one guy on the way and another trying to prove that he still belongs. And when the pressure starts to mount mid-fight, when Buckley lands something big or stuffs a takedown, how does Usman respond? That's a real question we gotta ask. So yeah, all things considered, I think this fight is still going to be competitive and close. I think Usman is still good enough, still experienced enough to make this competitive. He might get a takedown or two, he might control a few minutes, especially early, and if Buckley doesn't respect the wrestling threat, Usman can absolutely capitalize and still around. But overall, I just see Buckley pushing the pace more. I see him stuffing more takedowns, popping back up when he does get grounded, and landing the cleaner and more damaging shots on the feet. I think he's just more confident right now, more active, and honestly, he's got that hunger that Usman had 5 years ago, that spark. I don't think Buckley knocks Usman out. I'll say that clearly. Usman's tough though, and even if he slows down, he's not going to fold easy. But I do think Buckley wins at least 3, maybe even 4 rounds, just based off the volume, the pressure, and those big moments that he always creates when he gets going. I think the judges are going to lean towards that guy that's landing the heavier shots and dictating the tempo. And right now, that feels like Buckley. So yeah, official pick, I'm going to go with Buckley by unanimous decision. 48-47 or even 49-46 if he really starts cooking in that second half. Either way, I think this is going to be a statement win for him, not just beating a former champion, but doing it in a way that proves that he belongs in the top of the welterweight mix. This ain't going to be some fluke or lucky moment. This is going to be Buckley clocking in for violence and putting in 5 rounds of hard work, and when the scorecards drop, we're all going to be looking back and saying, yup, that was the night that Buckley leveled up. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.